A radio station in Algeria reported that the Algerian government has rejected France's request to utilize its territory for a military action in the Niger Republic, despite the fact that France has denied ever making such a request. France, who wants to maintain their good name, will never agree that they made a request in the first place. Countries don't usually make requests of this nature available. They are aware of the methods for passing the information, and when they are refused, they do not anticipate the nation making it known. Therefore, if they do ultimately make it public, it will be immediately denied. On the other side, it can just be a means for the Algerian government to express their opinion to France over the military action in Niger. Since the Niger coup, the original authorities have stated their viewpoint. Even while they denounced the coup, they continued to say they were against any military action in Niger. They have already closed the southern portion of their border with the Niger Republic. Thus, diplomacy is at work here. Algerians are essentially saying to France, regardless of whether they received a request or not, hey, we let you use our airspace in 2013 for operations in Mali. We then shut off our airspace. And as of right now, we basically won't let you utilize our airspace. In the Niger Republic, France aims to employ the same approach it employed in Ivory Coast. For that, they will require foot soldiers. They employed rebels in Ivory Coast. Why they shielded from above. The rebels were able to quickly take control of the whole area surrounding Barbo after taking out their major military headquarters in Abidjan. They would use ECOWAS forces as their foot soldiers in the Niger Republic, while France will provide air support. In order to send in combat helicopters and fighter planes, they must avoid Nigerian airspace. Tinubu's backing for ECOWAS and France's invasion of Niger is widely known, but they wouldn't want to portray it that way. They sought to give the impression that the decision was made by ECOWAS and not simply Tinubu, the president of Nigeria. Therefore, it will be evident that a problem will arise from behind if fighter planes and combat helicopters are seen invading Niger from Nigerian airspace. Because of the proximity to Niamey, Sokoto would have been the finest spot to stage the invasion of Niger, making the outcome somewhat uncertain from a logistical standpoint. Around 250 kilometers if they are functional, a few adjacent air bases in the Benin Republic can potentially be utilized. From these areas, Niamey is around 250 kilometers away. The Benin Republic could find it difficult to reject France. Therefore, we are not discussing whether or not they will accept it. Additionally, it may jeopardize their agreement with the Republic of Niger to build a crude oil pipeline. They could reconsider the pipeline contract if the military operation fails and the military in Niger regains power. They could state, they will no longer transit the pipeline through the Benin Republic since the people there resisted them. Being a landlocked nation, the Niger Republic has few possibilities for exporting its crude oil. There don't appear to be many alternatives left for the neighboring nations bordering the Gulf of Guinea. In addition, this project has been under development for a while. Perhaps they even ventured quite far into the Republic of Benin. It is therefore complex. Additionally, the Benin Republic might become a target if their nation is used as a base for an assault into another nation. A nation that joins an invasion becomes a possible target since the invading nation has the capability of retaliation. They may either migrate or claim to be from here. These are the hazards associated with taking part in such an invasion. What other options are there now that France is unable to access Algerian airspace? Do they need to use aircraft to invade Niger? Assume that France will be the launch location for the fighter planes. It follows that they will pass over the Mediterranean. Morocco won't be an issue because they have been granted access to their territory. To reach Mauritania, they will fly across Morocco. There is already a French military outpost in Mauritania. They won't have a problem with room. In reality, a NATO facility in Mauritania may be established soon. Mali will be a problem since they have promised to send soldiers to protect Niger on the ground. Thus, they will never be able to utilize their aircraft to invade their neighbor. The question is, though, can Malians defend their airspace? However, do the Malians have confidence to intercept an aircraft that is breaching their airspace despite having all this glitzy equipment that they recently acquired from Russia? The most crucial issue is that, whether they had the capacity or not, France wouldn't feel comfortable refueling in an enemy airspace. Niamey is around 1,000 kilometers away from the closest location in Mauritania. These are substantial nations. As a result, the fighter jet requires refueling the most while in the air. Even if France is forced to use its aircraft in the Gulf of Guinea, it is still a challenging scenario. A refueling stop must be made along the route because the trip is still 1,000 kilometers long. Why not give up right away, France? It won't be simple as evidenced by all these obstacles. It's impossible to forecast an invasion of any kind. Why not let the people of Niger choose their own future right away? Make them responsible for finding solutions on their own. In this situation, the leaders of ECOWAS should be asking France to give ground, yet the opposite is true. Why do they keep claiming that military action is required in Niger and that the majority of countries must invade Niger to overthrow the military junta? Just see Algeria's rejection of France. Why aren't Ivory Coast and Nigeria able to follow suit? Why can't Ghana, Togo, and the Benin Republic reject France's opinion on Niger's invasion? What makes them want to start a war in West Africa? Don't we just claim that it will be simple to come in for a few hours and leave? What could go wrong, you ask? The people of Niger are awake. They have been preparing their populace for defense against any invasion. The process won't be as simple as it was in Ivory Coast. Many military personnel moved into the major military facility in Abidjan when the rebels invaded the city, making it simple for France to attack them from the air and with ground forces. The rebels got the chance to look around and use their intelligence to find Babo. He wasn't even running away. He was at a presidential mansion in Abidjan. As a result, they found it simple to plan and carry out their operations in Ivory Coast. Given that Mali and Burkina Faso are joining forces to defend Nigerians, as well as the Wagner forces already present in Mali, it may not be the same situation in the Niger Republic. We unquestionably join the celebration. Due to their inability to flee, ground forces will be in grave danger. They can only escape back to Nigeria or the Benin Republic if he moves south. This is due to the exclusion of other neighboring nations. The border will undoubtedly be closed by Chad to the east. They have vowed not to take part in or support any military action. If you're attempting to flee the turmoil, are you going to rush to Libya? Algeria will also close her borders. Burkina Faso and Mali are off limits since they will join their brother Niger. Imagine that you are in Nigeria and that all of these are being transported there. Imagine how it will affect Nigerians who reside in the north. France can say, hey, go, I'll give you support, quite easily. There is less danger for everyone flying, especially if the nation you are invading has SAMs that can intercept highly flying drones. Thus, they run less of a risk. The majority of the pressure will be placed on the ground forces. It's true that the ECOWAS leaders are confused by everything. It is unfortunate that troops will have to confront this without any justification on their part. The worst aspect about this is that a lot of West African nations are struggling with major security issues. They are too much for these nations to handle. They want to travel and restore democracy in a different nation, despite the fact that they are unable to control the security challenges in own territories. How is it even possible? The only purpose of the ECOWAS leaders' presence is to appease French demands. They don't give a damn that the ECOWAS area finds this invasion to be exceedingly unpopular. After many years of independence, the people of the Francophone world are tired of France suffocating their political system and economies. It's unfortunate that the ECOWAS leaders do not concur with this definition of liberation. They just exist to serve their own interests. One of the worst independence wars against France is being fought by the Algerian people. Because they are aware that if they were given an inch, they would take a kilometer, they do not offer them the chance that the Francophone nations do. Because of this, many citizens of nations that speak the French no longer want them there. The citizens of the Republic of Niger have been demonstrating outside a French military base and want France to leave their nation. Who are the ECOWAS leaders to block them from obtaining independence from France? May reason ultimately win out, preventing this invasion from taking place. Let the ECOWAS leaders keep negotiating with the Niger military junta so they can rapidly put up a proposal to restore democracy.